The single most profound source of anxiety surrounding later life planning is not financial, but the silent, isolating fear of losing one's voice in a medical crisis.
Let's just let that sink in for a second. We spend so much time thinking about money, about our legacy in a financial sense, but this right here, this hits on something much deeper, doesn't it? It's that very human fear of becoming invisible, of having everything you believe in, everything you are, just erased when you're at your most vulnerable. It's the fear of silence, when all you want more than anything is to be heard.
And really, it all boils down to this one simple, powerful question. Who will speak for me when I cannot? I mean, really think about that. You're in a hospital. You can't communicate. Who in your life knows you well enough to make the call? Who gets what quality of life actually means to you beyond just being alive? This isn't some abstract idea. It's a reality that so many families get thrown into every single day. And often, the results are just heartbreaking.
So before we can even talk about a solution, we have to be really honest about the problem. We need to understand the stakes. What actually happens when there's no plan? When your wishes are a total mystery? We call it the burden of silence. And believe me, it's a weight that's far heavier than most people imagine. And it lands right on the shoulders of the people you love.
Okay, here's a critical point that so many people just don't realize. When there's no designated decision maker, the law in a lot of places doesn't just pick someone. Instead, it defaults to what is essentially a decision by committee. That means your spouse, your kids, your family, they all have to come to a unanimous agreement on every single decision about your care. Can you imagine? Your family, already scared and overwhelmed, now has to sit in a room and vote on life or death choices. It's a recipe for total gridlock.
And this is what that gridlock looks like in the real world. Let's be really clear here. It means agonizing delays in getting you the care you need while your loved ones argue or are just paralyzed by fear. If they can't agree, it can literally mean a judge, a total stranger, ends up making the most personal decisions of your life for you. And maybe worst of all, it can mean siblings who have always been close are suddenly at odds, creating these deep wounds that might never ever heal. That is the true burden of silence. It's this awful weight of guilt and stress that you never intended to leave behind.
This right here, this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the chaos, the confusion, the legal mess, the painful delays, the family fights. But on the other side, you have clarity. A single trusted voice takes the place of that committee. You get immediate, informed decisions instead of delays. Your wishes are actually honored, not debated. And so importantly, you preserve family unity right when they need it the most. I mean, look at these two paths. Which one do you want for your family? This isn't just about being practical. It's an incredible act of kindness.
All right, so now that we've looked at the potential chaos, let's switch gears and talk about the solution. And it's all built around this really simple but powerful idea. Clarity is the proxy. The way you fight back against all that fear and uncertainty isn't by ignoring it. It's by meeting it head-on with a clear, legal plan that acts like a shield, protecting both you and your family.
And the cornerstone of that plan is something called a healthcare power of attorney, or HCPOA. Now, I know it sounds like some dry legal term, but what it does is profoundly personal. This is the legal tool that lets you officially name one person, your agent, to be your voice. They are legally empowered to speak for you. See, this isn't about giving up control. It's the exact opposite. It's about taking control and projecting your voice into the future to make sure it's heard no matter what.
The HCPOA is the first piece of the puzzle, but it's even stronger when you pair it with its essential partner, the living will. Think of it this way. If the HCPOA names your spokesperson, the living will is their script. It's the document where you get specific about your wishes, especially around those really tough topics like life support. And what an incredible gift that is for your agent. It frees them from that terrible burden of having to guess what you would have wanted.
This is the easiest way to remember how these two work together. It's so simple. The healthcare power of attorney is the who. It answers that crucial question, who is my voice? And the living will, that's the what. It answers, what are my instructions? One appoints your champion, the other gives them your personal playbook. And when you have both, you have a rock-solid plan that leaves no room for doubt. It brings peace of mind to everyone involved.
And that's the bottom line, isn't it? When you've clearly laid out both the who and the what, you have created the shield of protection around your own autonomy. It's a legal shield, it's an emotional shield, and it makes sure that no matter what happens, your voice and your values are always the guiding force, the final authority.
Okay, so we get the problem, we get the solution. Now you might be thinking, this sounds great, but where do I even begin? It feels big. Well, it doesn't have to be. We're going to break it down into a really simple, manageable process. We call it the 4 steps to peace.
Here it is, the Peace Protocol, a clear roadmap. First, you're going to choose your agent. This is the most important part. Second, a really smart move is to separate your health and financial decision makers to avoid any conflicts. Third, you make it all official, and, this is key, you make sure people can actually find it when they need it. And fourth, you talk about the plan with your family so there are no surprises down the road.
Let's spend a minute on step 1, because this is the foundation of the whole thing. You need to choose one agent, not a committee, one person. Someone you trust, someone who's level-headed, and someone you know will honor your wishes even if it's hard for them. And definitely name a backup, a successor. But look, the paperwork is just the start. The real work and the real gift is the conversation. You have to sit down and talk openly about your values. And then you have to ask them, point blank, are you willing to do this for me? It's a huge responsibility, and they have to say yes with their eyes wide open.
Step 2 is all about smart, practical planning. It is highly recommended that you name different people for your healthcare and financial decisions. Why? Well, it just eliminates any potential conflict of interest. You don't want the person deciding on expensive long-term care to also be the person worried about what's left in an inheritance. By separating these jobs, you make sure your healthcare agent has one focus, and one focus only: your well-being, exactly as you've defined it.
Okay, step 3 is what makes this plan actually work in an emergency. A perfectly written document is totally useless if it's locked away in a safe deposit box that nobody can get to at 3 in the morning. So once it's all signed and notarized, you need to hand out copies. Your agent needs one, your backup agent needs one, and your doctor's office absolutely must have one scanned into your medical file. Make it easy to find. Your life could literally depend on it.
You know, we've got a lot about the documents and the steps, the practical side of things, but I want to shift now and talk about the heart of it all. Because this process, it's not just about filling out forms, it's about love. It's about reframing this whole thing, not as a scary task, but as one of the greatest gifts you can ever give your family. This is your legacy of love.
Getting these documents in order is not some morbid chore you have to suffer through. Truly, it is one of the most profound acts of responsible love you will ever perform. You are doing the hard work now, charting a difficult path so your family doesn't have to wander through it blind. You are caring for them with your foresight.
I want you to hold on to this phrase, a peace dividend. It's the perfect way to look at this. It is the exact opposite of the burden of silence. The emotional effort you put in now pays a dividend of pure peace to your family later. You are shielding them from that soul-crushing weight of uncertainty, from ever having to lie awake at night wondering, did I do the right thing? That freedom from guilt is maybe the most precious gift of all.
So you see, this one single act of planning does 2 incredibly powerful things at the same time. For you, it preserves your dignity, your basic right to decide for yourself, right to the very end. And for your family, it removes a massive source of potential conflict, which allows them to rally together and support each other instead of being torn apart.
Okay, we've gone through the problem, the solution, the steps, and the real heart of why this matters so much. Now, let's bring it all home. Let's focus on the one decisive step you can take today, right now. This isn't about doing everything at once. It's just a gentle challenge to simply begin.
If you only take away one single thing from our time together, please let it be this. The healthcare power of attorney is the tool that guarantees that your voice, your values, your wishes, they remain the final authority in your life, no matter what.
First, this is all about securing your voice. It's making sure that who you are doesn't just vanish the moment you can no longer speak for yourself. The HCPOA is that bridge, carrying your voice forward so you'll always be heard. Next, remember that clarity comes from choosing that one single trusted person to be your proxy, that one voice. Making that choice is the most powerful step you can take to protect yourself and make sure your wishes are followed with compassion.
And finally, this is fundamentally about protecting your family. By making your wishes clear and choosing your advocate, you lift a truly unimaginable burden from them. You give them the gift of harmony when they will need it the most.
So here's my gentle challenge. Before you click away or move on to the next thing, just take a quiet moment, right now, and just answer this one question in your own mind. Who is the one person, the single individual you would trust to be your voice?
Just thinking of their name, seeing their face in your mind, that is the first and most important step on this path to peace. Because in the end, that's what this is. Your plan is a promise. It's a promise you make to yourself to protect your dignity. And it's a promise you make to the people you love to protect their unity. It is a promise of peace, of clarity, and of love.